What's up, everybody? This is Jay, and this video is about Jordan or LeBron. Who changed the NBA the most? Now, that's this video. It's not about who's the better player, because if that's the question, it's Jordan hands down. But who changed the NBA the most? Let's get into it. First, how did Jordan change the game? Now, first off, Michael Jordan modernized the NBA. And what I mean by that is before Michael Jordan, until Larry Bird and Magic came, it was all a big man's game. And even Larry Bird and Magic were 6'9". They were big players, but they started to play a little more small ball. Michael Jordan at 6'6" as the shooting guard was really the first smaller player to become the alpha dog of the team and lead the team to victory without a center. This was new in the NBA. You always needed a big man to be a dominant force in the NBA back in the day. And Michael Jordan modernized the game by being the first smaller player to be the leader of the team and the best player on the team, and then the best player in the NBA. This was something that had never happened really before. You can go back and say a Dr. J or even a Jerry West, but they were never considered the best player in the NBA. It was always somebody else that you can compare and say, hey, this player is better than them, whatever the case. With Michael Jordan, it was hands down unanimous. He was the best player in the NBA, and his whole entire career, he never played with a dominant big man. That's a fact. So he modernized the game. He also had everybody knowing who a basketball player was beyond basketball fans. With his endorsements, he took it to the next level. Yeah, we had other players with endorsements and shoe deals, but they didn't have their own custom shoe. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had the Converse weapon. It was the exact same shoe, just in different colors. Jordan came out with the Air Jordans. He came out with the dunks, the dunk flying from the free throw line. He came out with the tongue wagon, with the Gatorade, the Coca-Cola. Everybody want to be like Mike. It was something new, revolutionary. He changed the game in the sense that he made NBA players a walking corporation, businessmen, and that their future was in their hands to that respect. And so movies, things to that effect was all new to NBA players. And also, when Michael Jordan, he made basketball extremely exciting, playing above the rim. Basketball was boring until Magic Johnson came around with Showtime and Larry Bird, and they kind of saved the NBA. The NBA was in financial trouble in the 70s. Magic and Larry Bird kind of gave it a pep, brought it back. And then Michael Jordan took it to the next level. While they were still going, he brought the game above the rim. A lot of players didn't do flashy dunks and make dunk look like an art form the way Michael Jordan did. Dr. J was probably the first one to modernize the dunk, and Michael Jordan took it to a whole nother level, something that nobody has seen before. And it also came at the perfect time when TV and basketball were finally coming together. You know, when Magic Johnson won his first championship, it was on tape delayed. You couldn't even have watched it live. And by the time Jordan was in his prime, all basketball games were played live, full coverage, interviews. It was just starting to grow, and people wanted to know more and more, and it made basketball players stars in their own right, not just star athletes, but stars. And also, he made the shoes, the shorts, long shorts. He made basketball gear cool. He made basketball shoes luxury shoes. I remember getting shoes, Jordans, and my father used to be blown away at the price. He would say, these are just basketball shoes, not realizing that it was transformed into a luxury shoes. Back then, people would only spend that kind of money for leather dress shoes snakeskin gaiters, whatever the case. Nobody considered buying gym shoes. And so Michael Jordan, he elevated to books, movies. He made multiple movies, Space Jam, a couple different books. He had a restaurant in Chicago. He even had his own cologne in case you wanted to smell like a sweaty jockstrap. He had it all. And so Michael Jordan changed the game on the court and off the court like no other player ever had before. And he started to get the power from ownership to the players. He's the first one. And the reason why is because he had a bad contract, and it was notoriously known that he had a bad contract in the NBA, but he made so much money off the court that he didn't really make a big beef about it like a player today would. And so when the time did come after coming back from retirement, he still had 1 year left, but when it was time for him to renegotiate it, he's the first one to go for a 1 year deal. And it was for the highest amount in NBA history up until just recently in the last few years. It was for $30 million for that 1 year. And then the next year he re-signed, and it was for a little over 30 million, almost 32, 33 million. And so that was a little makeup pay for what Michael Jordan was owed, and he was able to bring 3 more championships during his second stint with the Bulls for a total of 6 championships. And that put him in rare air, so to speak, with some of the greatest players that ever lived. No other player was able to do that at his size. Now, they had Kareem and other players. Magic was able to do it, but he always had a dominant big man in Kareem on his team. So Jordan was able to do it with another wing player, Scottie Pippen. That was something new, and the league was on notice that big men are not necessarily mandatory to be a winner. Now, Michael Jordan, household name to this day. He's an owner now in the NBA. He's steadily changing. His shoes are still popular, more popular than current players. Let's see how LeBron changed the game. Now, LeBron James, to me, is arguably one of the top 3 players, top 5 definitely, of all time. He's a big guy, though. He's 6'8". Some people may say 6'9", 240. He's larger than Jordan, but he plays small ball, meaning he can play point guard. He can play all 5 positions actually very well, and 4 positions at an all-star level. Now, LeBron changed the game because he was the first star since high school that made it to the NBA and surpassed everything. He was the first one where his high school games were being broadcast on ESPN. This is something that really hasn't happened since LeBron. It's not really anybody that high school games are being broadcast. He was on the cover of sport magazines and ESPN and Hoops and all of this as a high school student. He was already the first person when he came into the NBA, the youngest, to get $100 million contract from Nike before he ever played a single game. Okay, LeBron James inspired NBA teams to go crazy for high school players to the point where they eventually had to stop themselves and bring in the one and done rule because everybody wanted the next LeBron. Now, of course, Kobe and other players, Kevin Garnett, came before LeBron straight out of high school, but LeBron was the peak right there that made them all want to get the next super phenom ready to put the NBA on notice. Now, because he was able to play from high school with so many great players, he became friends with a lot of his future competitors thanks to AAU as well as Olympic teams. Now, in Jordan's day, they may have been friends off the court, but very few. They wanted to destroy each other. They wanted to compete against each other. Now, LeBron, I'm not going to take anything away from his competitive nature, but he was the first one to be friends with other players, more so than any other superstar at that time. He's the first type A star, that means the best player on the court, who didn't mind being a complimentary player. He was the type of player that could have played like Jordan, had scoring titles every year, and that wasn't his interest. He has had a scoring title, but he never mind passing the ball, rebounding, doing a little bit of everything to help his team win, to make his teammates more successful. And sometimes he's even been criticized for not taking the last shot or whatever the case, but that was just his playing style. It was like a cross between Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan. Now, LeBron changed the game when he took power completely away from the owners and gave it total power to the players when he decided to leave Cleveland for Miami and team up with his friends D. Wade and Chris Bosh. This is something that had never been done before, even if you want to point back to the Celtics with Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett. Yeah, they talked, but the teams made these trades to make these deals happen. These guys all went into free agency on their own at the same time and decided amongst themselves that this is what they were going to do, and the teams accommodated them because they were great players. But this is not something that they all decided as a team organization to trade for these guys. And so he inspired the entire league to, hey, our career is short, this road is hard. Why don't we play with friends that we enjoy playing with, that are also great players, and win? And the league has never been the same again, and it never will be. It's now a player-controlled NBA, and it's all due to LeBron deciding to team up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. And even though they went to 4 straight finals with that team and they won 2, it could have been more successful, but because they were successful enough to go to 4 straight finals, the proof was right there that, hey, this will work. This is something that you can do. And then he chose to leave and go to Cleveland and play with Kyrie, and then work behind the scenes to get management to accommodate him by bringing in Kevin Love. When he went to Cleveland, he only signed a small 2-year contract with the 2nd-year option as well. And he decided that I will never give full commitment to a team. That way I can hold them hostage. If they don't do what they're supposed to do, I will walk. And so it always gave him control over the team, that, hey, if you're not making the proper moves to be a competitive team and a winner, that I will leave. And so that made Cleveland always interested in making the best team and surrounding the best team around LeBron. And also, he inspired the NBA to take control of their body and rest during the season. Michael Jordan notoriously played 82 games pretty much every season. A lot of the players of his era played the 82-game schedule as much as possible. LeBron and this new group decided to take games off when they were with Miami to rest for the playoffs. They decided to put a priority on the playoffs versus the regular season, because they realized that that's where your bread and butter is made, and that's where your legacy is formed. And ever since then, very few stars play 82 games during the regular season, because it's really no point. They would rather be rested up and fresh for the playoffs. And a lot of fans don't like that. Some fans that do like it are usually the fans of the teams that these guys play for. And because of that, the NBA players are going to have longer careers, more than likely, because they're not playing as much on their bodies during the regular season. He also inspired the entire league to take control of their career and play on deals that benefit them and not the team. So a lot of players take 1-year deals or 1 year with the player option on the 2nd year more than ever now. That's something that LeBron James started. Jordan originally took the 1-year deal, but he didn't do it the way LeBron did it. A lot of people saw Jordan doing that. He was at the end of his career. The Bulls underpaid him notoriously. A lot of people saw it as Jordan getting his money that he deserved. LeBron did it in his prime when he didn't have to. LeBron did it betting on himself that he would stay healthy, not suffer a catastrophic injury, and be able to still continue to get a large contract the next following season. And that's something that had to be put on notice. Now, one of the final things that LeBron did is he did speak out against injustice, from the I can't breathe to the hands up, don't shoot. This is something Michael Jordan or no other player of that generation did. And I do give LeBron credit for that, because he has become larger than a basketball player by elevating himself into somewhat of an activist. And finally, he empowered his friends and helped them to be successful, putting them in businesses to be successful with the LRMR agency, where they're able to have other athletes represented through them. And so with that partnership, LeBron now is becoming a mega agent in the NBA, which has helped them land Anthony Davis as well as many other great players in the NBA, and it's continuing. And so LeBron James has changed the game more than Michael Jordan off the court. On the court, Michael Jordan revolutionized the game in making it not a center specific game. But as far as off the court, LeBron James, with these contracts and the player movement, playing with friends, has changed the game forever. And I will have to give him credit for that. But as far as whoever's the best player between the two, it's Michael Jordan, hands down. What do you guys think? I'm looking for your comments. I'm looking to see what you guys think. Do you think LeBron maybe changed the game more than Michael Jordan because of the contracts and the movement with the players? Or do you think Jordan has just beat LeBron in every category that's possible? What do you think? Let me know. I want to thank everybody that support me. If you enjoyed this video, click that like. I'm trying to get 50 likes for this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. I want to thank everybody that support me at patreon.com, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.